Well, we have definitely come a long way since, of course, Joe Biden declared that the president of Ukraine was Putin.
And now I want to hand it over to the president of Ukraine, who has as much courage as he has determination. Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin.
Yeah, that's a big mistake there, as of course a lot of people are asking the question, are we making more mistakes under this new leadership that is absolutely more competent, absolutely is getting more done, absolutely is more honest, and has more press conferences, and actually is able to string together sentences? But are we moving in the right direction? All of which we have some major developments specifically unfolding right now in Ukraine that are very bombastic, very underhanded, as there's a major phone call happening right now in the making of this video between Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump. All of this as the CIA has just released a bombshell document that I think is absolutely worth paying attention to, especially when it comes to some of the collusion and some of the very unfair, unhinged activities of the previous administration that weaponized the Department of Justice in order to try to destroy Donald Trump. As, of course, we were affected by that targeted PSYOP attack, as we were called a lot of bad names by the corporate media that was running through the intelligence agencies, their PSYOP, that now finally has been unraveled. We're going to be talking about that and a lot more. If you appreciate that, subscribe, click the notification button. We always appreciate your support and your time with us. As, of course, in the making of this video, Donald Trump announced that he will be speaking with President Putin of Russia and declaring thank you. Now, what has happened in that phone call? What are they going to be discussing? Well, it's pretty clear here. The situation with Ukraine is reaching a very critical stage here, as the Ukrainians are still relying on PR victories and sabotage attacks, as the Russians are slowly and surely gaining more territories and land, including a rare earth mineral mine that makes it more difficult for the Ukrainians to be able to purchase new American weapons and arms. Now, this is the real kind of misconception here surrounding a lot of this that I'm going to be clearing up here in just a little bit. But it's also important to note here that there was just a phone call between Israel and Russia, between Bibi and Putin. What were they discussing? They were discussing the future of Syria and the future of Iran here. Now, why is that critically important? Well, a lot of people look at Russia and say, hey, they just kind of left one of their key allies and they didn't really help them, as the Iranians now were running towards the Chinese, being like, hey, we want to make weapons deals with you guys now. As, of course, the previous weapons deal, the previous pacts, the previous deal we had here didn't really work out for us, as, of course, the Russians were leveraged and they had a very difficult situation on their hands, saying, hey, we kind of want this war in Iran to kick off, because of the more it kicks off, the more likelihood we have of gaining control of the Ukrainian territory. And we have seen that. We have seen Donald Trump take away 20,000 missile defense systems, anti-missile defense systems, anti-drone systems, and other major capabilities away from the Ukrainians, as the Ukrainians are like, what's going on here? What? And we reported, this is one of the reasons we were able to predict that Trump was going to bomb Iran. We called that before, I think, anybody else. It was because we got early reports of 20,000 Patriot missile systems just being moved around here. Now, Donald Trump was asked, hey, are you going to be giving Ukraine those Patriot missile systems? And he's like, I'll think about it. This, as the United States is reporting that they have record low stockpile, but yet we are sending more military munitions and arms and hardware down over to the Middle East, as that area is expected to kick off at any moment in time, as Israel just this morning was bombing Lebanon. So yeah, there's that. Reuters here has the article, Trump, Putin to talk on Thursday ahead of possible Zelensky call. Now, Zelensky here, listen, it's not looking too good for him. The man is out of luck here. As, of course, we got multiple reports of the United States saying, listen, we can't help you. We're just too low on stockpiles. And again, we reported to you this during the Biden administration. We were saying, hey, the United States is just giving everything to the point where we are not replenishing it, to the point where we are left vulnerable. That's an important notion to be reminded of here, as, of course, there's also other reports coming in that the United States spent 20% of its THAAD missile defense systems within the 12-day conflict against Iran here. Now, they lost a significant portion of this, and the kind of dual nature of this conflict definitely leads to a more exacerbated United States here. But at the same time, we got to ask ourselves, we're telling one country, sorry, we can't help you, we don't have enough arms, while we're going above and beyond and doing another $510 million weapons deal with Israel. Signals, a lot of things that, a lot of people are too uncomfortable to kind of bring up here. As now Ukraine is officially requesting Washington to allow Europe to buy U.S. weapons for Ukraine. It's like, hey, can my buddy buy it for me, please? As the United States is probably not going to do on this. The Pentagon, we're low on stockpiles. What has been happening here is that we have seen that the Russians could produce cheaper, quicker, faster munitions than the West. That's the big revelation here. Sure, they're not as fancy. Sure, they don't have as much capabilities. But when it comes to just full-on war here, the Russians, the Chinese, the Iranians have definitely shown to be more of a better type of military-industrial complex for these types of situations, as ours is still bloated, filled with a lot of no-bid contracts and no incentives and no even capitalistic pressures for companies to say, yeah, we're actually going to give the American people a fair shake here on their tax dollars, as we're spending nearly 40 to 50% of all of our money, of our budgets, on defense. Where's that money going to? To these socialized, pork-filled, fat-bellied, frickin' predators, in my opinion. Before talking about the new CIA document that's unraveling a lot of the whole Russian collusion nonsense, we wanted to tell you about lunfiltercom. As of course, if you remember, as soon as Donald Trump got into political office the first time around, again, when he did good stuff, we complimented. We did bad stuff. I said, and just like this year, same thing. We've foreseen it, and the stuff that we criticized Donald Trump on the first term, Donald Trump agreed he was wrong on eventually when he was running for the presidency this time around. And listen, there's a lot of things that we've been calling out here, but we were attacked for defending Donald Trump the first time around, even though we were being called never Trumpers. Never Trumpers on issues that Trump agreed we were on right now, right? The whole time on. Anyway, just a little reminder of that. Excuse me there. I just have to get that out of my system there. But more importantly, we were called, you're Russian assets, because we defended Donald Trump, because we didn't blindly believe the intelligence agencies that were telling us, along with the corporate media, that he was in Russian hotel rooms with ladies of the night that were relieving their bowels on him, because we didn't blindly believe a lot of this nonsense. We were attacked by the Washington Post, an intel agency linked paper. They're like, there were the foreign agents. They don't believe the intel agency. And I'm like, we don't believe him now. And there's questions, doubts about them now, especially what's been happening with Iran here. And that's why it's important to have this kind of big kind of clearing of the record by this intelligence agency, which again, mixed record here. But I digress. I can't. I'm like, so many things are just coming in my brain. LukeUnfiltered.com. Sign up for it. Click the link down in the description below. You click wherever you want, whatever you could afford. We have payments as low as 20 cents a day, and that allows you to have 13 plus years of videos, 3 master classes. We're doing in real life meetups, 1 in Milwaukee, July 9th, and then 1 in South Florida, in Miami. That is happening July 13th. So a lot of really fun stuff happening, all a part of LukeUnfiltered.com. And again, you get to talk to me directly. Also on the Telegram chat, we have like 20 things that we give you. Okay, check out all the 20 things we give you just by signing up to LukeUnfiltered.com. Just make sure to check your spam box. When you check your spam box, that's when you're able to, of course, make sure that you get our emails, that you get your login credentials, and a lot of the emails are just going to spam for some reason. But anyway, let's continue on here as the Ukrainians are like, hey, can my buddy buy off of you? Not looking good for them, man. And it's sad. It's really sad here, since previous Western leaders like Blinken and Biden and all these other crazy type of like bloodthirsty war hawks were like, no, don't sign the peace deal. No, don't negotiate. No. Don't even meet with Putin. Ooh, Putin's bad. And then Ukraine did. They were a proxy, a vessel state of the Biden administration, and they said, yes, I'll follow all of your orders, intel agencies, to tell me what to do. And the intel agencies were there in 2012, by the way, setting up the groundwork for this conflict, which was already in the works, which we predicted and called out as, of course, the Maidan revolution was happening. And we were saying, hey, there's a big concerted effort here to bring over this revolution that is happening. Next up, Romania. Are you excited about that? That's going to happen in a few years from now. Not yet. Not yet. Azerbaijan also is going to be pretty interesting to see what's going to be happening there between Russia. That probably will kick off a little bit quicker. But anyway, that's what you get from paying attention to all this stuff and looking at it and analyzing everything here. As the Europeans are like, hey, well, you got to pay us back from some of the stuff we give you. And listen, this is a very unfortunate situation, as of course the one thing that the Ukrainians are relying on are these kind of targeted hit lists and assassination attempts and PR victories. I mean, they just took out one of the highest ranking Russian officers of this conflict, as the deputy chief of the Russian Navy was just taken out in what looks like a successful Ukrainian attack. There's also a lot of sabotage attacks. There's also a lot of car bombs. There's also a lot of targeted assassinations here that, of course, have been happening here. And listen, it is not looking good, as the Russians have amassed nearly 110,000 troops near a major city that they're soon likely going to be taking over, with the U.S. pausing munitions and the West just spending so much money on them. The Russians have a lot of munitions. They have a war economy. They have a war machine that has been started up here, and there's really no incentives. It's going to be interesting to see what's going to be happening here, as, of course, they're also getting a new resupply of about 30,000 troops that are going to be joining them from North Korea, as the North Koreans have been sending in their soldiers in exchange for some Russian technology. And again, there's a big partnership there, just like there was with Iran there. But Iran there now understands that, hey, if something really does happen, we're kind of on our own here. Now here comes the big news, as the new CIA Director Ratcliffe just found that the Obama administration, Brennan, Comey, Clapper, all conceived of the Trump-Russian collusion hoax as a political weapon against them. Yep, this is according to Kellen McBreen, who says, now will any of these deep state criminals be brought to justice? Central Intelligence Agency Director John Ratcliffe released a report just a few hours ago, describing in detail what millions of Americans have already known for 10 years by revealing that the Obama administration engaged in politically charged witch hunts targeting President Trump following his 2016 presidential election. Now, on that issue, we were correct. Even though the corporate media was attacking us, social media was attacking us, we were heavily censored, we were heavily attacked here. And listen, we stood up for Donald Trump. There's people during that time, you guys are never I'm like, he's meeting with Kissinger. He's being like, this is not good. Kushner, whoa, look at that. Smoke, there's fire. And they're like, you're crazy. I'm like, here we go again. Again, there's multiple levels to this. As the Obama-era CIA Director John Brennan, FBI Director James Comey, his daughter had a very bad loss yesterday with the Diddy case, and Director of National Intelligence James Clapper determined that Russia interfered in the 2016 presidential election to help Donald Trump win using a process tainted by a pro-Hillary Clinton political motive. The Ratcliffe review found that former President Barack Obama ordered Trump-Russia collusion assessment 6 weeks before the end of his presidency. And again, this is what they set up here. And they set up this for not just predictive programming here, not just to lay the groundwork for the big war with Russia that the Democrats were planning for, that kicked off under the Biden administration, not by accident. And again, everyone's like, Russia's their aggressor. Yeah, they are. They started this war. But if you look at the steps that led up to this, I would argue that Kamala Harris going over to Ukraine as the vice president of the United States at the time and being like, you guys are going to join NATO, escalated the situation and kind of like kept pushing the envelope, kept pushing the situation, be like, yeah. And then they got their response like, yes, we got it. Good. Now we got the war. Now we got the proxy war that hopefully Donald Trump ends. We'll see what happens, but there's a bigger chessboard here than a lot of people realize, because a lot of people are looking at the minutia. I'm taking a step back and I'm like, okay, there's different deals being made here. Iran, the future of Iran is being determined here by Russia, Israel, and the United States. Let's just be honest with ourselves. Same with, of course, Syria. Now, Syria has been playing ball. That's why Donald Trump got rid of some of the sanctions, because they allowed American and Israeli forces to shoot down Iranian missiles over their territory. Okay? And that's why they got rid of some of the sanctions. We have also seen Donald Trump and the loosening of sanctions against some major Russian banks, which signals that the United States is again, using a little bit of a carrot behind the scenes to say, Russia, don't help out Iran. The Chinese planes were flying and landing inside of Tehran. There was no Russian planes. And again, lots of the Iranian air defense and lots of their military capabilities are from Russia. Now, when we look at this report, this is the official CIA.gov website here, specifically talking about the ICA origins and contests, the procedurals, and then, of course, there's some more stuff blacked out. It wouldn't be a CIA document if stuff wasn't blacked out from it. And when we look at this entire document, as Ratcliffe told the New York Post in an exclusive interview, this was Obama's Comey, Clapper, and Brennan deciding that we're going to screw Trump. It was, we're going to create this and put the imprimatur of an IC assessment in a way that nobody can question it. They stamped it as Russian collusion, and then they classified it so nobody could see it. Now that right there is extremely underhanded right there. Now, will there be any charges here? I hope so. But so far, let's just be honest with ourselves. The Trump administration, the FBI, they're going after low-level players. Okay? Let's just be real with ourselves. The big high-level criminals, still at large. And to the point where a lot of people are like, what are you guys doing? They waged legal lawfare against you. And you're just kind of making these empty threats. But Donald Trump's like, well, we can arrest Zohran. Listen, there's different layers to this game here, okay? He should be saying Comey, Clapper, Brennan. Why isn't he saying those? I mean, this new document does, this new CIA assessment does reveal, this was criminal level type of collusion meant to undermine the presidency that did. And then Donald Trump started his presidency in a way where he had to be seen as adversarial against Russia because everyone's saying, oh, he's bought up by Russia. And they're still saying it, even though it's a complete fabrication, even though it's totally made up. The discredited Steele dossier, these discredited intelligence agencies, this corporate media, he's Russian. He hates Russia. It's Russia, 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 Russia. I was like, is Russia in the room with you? Yes, they are. I'm like, you guys are freaks. I want to see some proof here. You're Russian. I'm like, oh God. And I'm like, getting my career destroyed by social media that's censoring us for standing up for this. And then it's like, you're a little critical of Donald Trump doing a bad thing, which he later admitted was bad. You're a never Trumper. I'm like, oh, it's so tiresome. It's so tiresome. I'm exhausted. I'm tired of this nonsense. Get it, good people. If only it was that easy. Now, this new CIA head releasing this document, sure, it's good. Will it be followed up with some charges? If there isn't, we got a pathetic presidency. If there's actually some teeth in this, I think there needs to be, because guess what? They're going to run it back. As soon as the Democrats go in power, they're going to run another psyop. They're going to run another major attack going after people who are part of the populist right, who are a part of trying to do the right thing. And again, it was when you look back to this whole Russian collusion thing, it was a brilliant maneuver by Obama. It was a brilliant maneuver by all these intelligence agencies that kicked out Michael Flynn out of his office right away. And they're like, oh, yeah, he back-channeled with the Russians. I mean, he had a phone call with them. Because he didn't have a phone call a couple days after. Okay, that's why, really? It's just ridiculous to see the level of legal lawfare here. As Michael Flynn says, attention, enough is enough. John Brennan needs to be put under investigation immediately. Yeah, but it's not happening. Why? I'm going to criticize it. And then, shut up. Shush. It's important to call out the facts here. It's important to care about the truth here. It's important to call a spade a spade. Let's just be real with ourselves. And I think we need more honest conversations. If you agree, share this video. Sign up to lookunfiltered.com. I'm going to be making some content about how to survive the very next crazy few months there, just for members. Stay tuned for that and a lot more, all here exclusively on youtube.com/wearechange.